More junk! Yay! This is going to be the most painful part of collecting my resources. I do not know how long it's going to take us to find 18 molecular condensers. Does that represent hundreds, literally hundreds of data sites? It might. What does running hundreds of data sites even look like? And what the heck are we going to do with all this junk? Except for you, and you. You're cool. Another day and another system to scan and explore. I have a feeling I'm going to be doing a lot of this. So, I mean, I guess let me know if you're really excited about the idea of the next dozen episodes being just back-to-back-to-back low-sec data sites. But otherwise, I feel like we're probably going to go into montage mode pretty soon as I prepare to spend hours of my limited time on this Earth scanning hundreds of data sites looking for those molecular condensers. In the meantime, I will also be traveling around different parts of LOSEC, sort of scoping out where our next home might be, because we are still thinking about relocating somewhere else that has richer resources and content that's better suited to our current skills and capabilities. So we'll see. We'll see what looks like a likely destination as we're traveling around, and I'm sure some unexpected excitement will find us soon enough. That's what happens when you live in LOSEC. This is Bill. Bill wants to build a Cynabal and join the Angel Cartel cause in Zarzak, but he's not making it easy on himself. We found another Relic site, and this time we are the only one in system. Got a lot fewer cans than the last one, but hopefully we can hack them quickly and in peace. We've also found a couple of drone combat sites in the system. I think we might come back momentarily with a rail fit catalyst and see about running those. Archaeology skill is extremely low. And notice that we're starting with only 50 hit points on our little virus guy down there on the left. We do need to train archaeology up past 1 if we want to have a real chance of running these sites, especially any of the more difficult cans. Oh, this one we managed to take down. Ooh, look at that! 40 shield emitters. That's huge for us. And Tech 2 salvage. Now that's interesting. The interesting thing about drawing the Tech 2 salvage is that Tech 2 rig blueprints are also found in Relic sites, which means that we don't have to get involved in the invention process, and all of the materials can be found through exploration. So rigs, unlike pretty much everything else, are something where T2 could potentially be in reach for us. I'll take all of this. And what is a spatial attunement unit? I honestly have no idea what this is for. I've seen them before. Oh, making Tech 2 scan arrays. We can't even make a Tech 1 scan array. I think this is a little ways off. Okay, so check out all this loot we pulled in, half of it in Diego the Probe and half of it in Orion the Catalyst. This large micro jump drive blueprint we're just never going to build. a lot of the stuff of value over here on the probe side is these decryptors and these weird parts for building T2 and storyline modules, which we'll never get to use. We got some more of these abyssal filaments, which we will eventually want to use. Sadly, out of all of this, the thing that's most useful to us is this salvage that we collected, which is nice. It's nice to have our salvage stocks get filled up like this, but none of the rest of this stuff really changes our game. Oh, and there is this Rogue Drone 46X chip, but like I said, I don't think that we can do anything with that. Well, this is awkward. We have got to talk about this Astero blueprint. The Astero would be an incredible ship for us to have, especially at this point in the run when we're stuck looking for these molecular condensers. The Astero is bonus for scanning, it's bonus for hacking, it's far better at both than the probe we've been using. It's also much better at running gate camps, and it's got drone bonuses. It's a totally viable combat ship all in its own right. We would love nothing more than to have an Astero right now. But look at the build cost. Does this look familiar? It's basically the same build cost as the Cynabal, just 1/4 as much of everything. So on the one hand, that does mean that we're already collecting all the things that we need to build an Astero. It would only set us back 1/4 of the way. On the other hand, we won't be able to build the Astero until we've actually collected every single one of the individual resources in some volume, and until we've bought our blueprints and bought our reaction formulas and done our reactions. We're still almost as far off from building the Astero as we are from building the Cynabal, so at the point when we're ready to build it, we might as well just build a Cynabal. Unless there's one thing that holds us up. Unless it turns out that for one of these resources, getting a couple of them is hard, and getting all of them is way harder. And unless, particularly, that resource is one that you get by scanning and hacking. The situation in which we build this Astero is exactly the one that I'm dreading right now, which is that we scan and hack data sites for days and weeks looking for molecular condensers, and we drag in 2 or 3 of them, but we need 18. And there's an almost interminable hacking marathon ahead of us. At that point, we might say, okay, let's take the small handful of condensers that we've collected. We'll use those to build an Astero. It sets us back, 25% across the board on our Cynabal progress. But then we're so much better equipped to go out and actually blitz through the rest of those condensers. I hope it doesn't come to that, but if it does, an Astero is about the best contingency plan we could ask for. Now, there is one other thing with an Astero, which is that it would be crazy to fly one without a covert ops cloak. And we obviously can't build a covert ops cloak, they're Tech 2, but we could loot one. And I have been sort of brewing in the back of my mind an idea revolving around laying traps for covop ships at data and relic sites. A little surprise catalyst ambush. And if we do decide that we need to build an Astero, then at that point going out of our way to hunt some covop ships until one of them drops a cloak for us, since we only would need 1 cloak, doesn't seem crazy. But for now, we're definitely leaving this blueprint on the shelf and hoping that we never have to come back for it. Oh, I might be about to lose my sister's core scanner probes. I've got a pretty fast align time, but I don't know if it's fast enough to escape a Gnosis and a Mollis. I see some frigate wrecks here. Got a bad feeling about this, guys. Ooh. Good fight, guys. Well, it was too good to last. Sisters core scanner probes. They never were along for this world. Probes are meant to be disposable. It was a very sad day when Diego perished to a Mawless Navy issue on a gate camp with a Gnosis providing remote reps. Not okay. But we're uncowed. We have refit. Here's Perseus. Same basic deal. We're running a mimetic algorithm bank this time because I really would like to start hacking successfully more of those high-level data containers because I want to get my hands on the first molecular condenser. Now, the flip side of that is that we can't fit the polycarb, which means our agility is even lower than before, but this is a very cheap and easy to replace version of a probe. So we're just going to go out and be kind of reckless. And if we find a molecular condenser, then we will drop it in a station and come back and pick it up in something that can't be caught by a gate camp. This fit is one that we can just keep replacing over and over and over again. And that's probably the right way for us to be flying right now. Off we go. Garbage. This is a special class of garbage. Definitely not a molecular condenser. This is a ghost site. It says Serpentis Covert on it. So that means as soon as we warp in, a timer starts. The timer is invisible, but once the timer ticks down, a whole bunch of Serpentis NPCs are going to warp on grid, blow up the cans, do a ton of explosive damage when the cans explode, and then kill us. Also, the cans explode if we fail a hack, doing a ton of explosive damage. But it's otherwise a normal looking data site, and the cans are full of pretty high level loot. I'm not sure if it's loot that we can use, but it's so tempting. I want to try and fly in here, grab one can, and then get out. And we're going to do the hack as carefully as we can, knowing that our ship is almost certainly forfeit if we fail it. Okay, ghost site, here we come. Warning, you're approaching a Serpentis research facility. Every project undertaken here is strictly legal and above board. Nonetheless, we regret to inform you that any attempts at unauthorized access will be highly dangerous for you and your crew. Noted. So the cans usually have different names, and the ones that have the best loot in them, as I recall, usually have the rarer names. So we're going to assume that the data banks are the good cans. We're burning in under Mercury Warp Drive. We're going to get into an orbit around it. Oh, shoot, shoot, shoot. I've already messed up. Oh man, this does not bode well. I targeted one can and burned towards the other can. The timer's usually like 2 minutes. There it is. All right, what do you got? If it's really garbage, 216 million ISK. I'm sure we can't use that for anything. Do we go for another can? No, I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out of here while I still can. So what the hell does this thing do? It's used in a Neuralink protection cell blueprint. Okay. And what's the Neuralink protection cell used for? Okay. I have a feeling we're not building Neuralink protection cells. Although, I mean, I suppose leave a comment if you'd rather see me switch this to the Corvette to challenge. Yes, this seems reasonable. I should have gone for a second can. I got too starry-eyed at the 216 million-isk estimate line down there. This thing is actually completely valueless to us. Unless we build a Chamash. Okay, this is probably a good opportunity to do something that I've been meaning to do. The YouTube comments are going to eviscerate me if I go through a whole nother hacking episode without talking about the strategy of the hacking minigame in a little bit more depth. Particularly an idea called the rule of 6. People have done pretty in-depth statistical analyses of the way this game plays out, and they found a couple of interesting sort of quirks. One of which is, you see these nodes can have a maximum of 6 nodes connecting around them. So this one right here is fully connected. It is a 6 node. It has 6 lines coming off of it. And they found, over the course of thousands and thousands of hacking minigames, that a 6 node like this never has a hostile program in it unless it's adjacent to the core. Which means 2 things. One, if you've got a 6 node available to you, you should click it. It's almost certainly safe. The second thing it means is that if you click that 6 node and you find a hostile program, then now you know that one of those 6 connecting nodes is the core. This holds true, it turns out, 100% of the time. In the 10 or so years since this theory was first proposed, I don't know of a single instance being published where this rule led the hacker astray. Every time someone's like, the rule of 6 doesn't work, it turns out that they actually made a mistake in the hacking, that they misunderstood the rule. The other rule people in the comments want me to talk about is the so-called rule of 8, but that one is a lot less reliable. The principle behind it is that the core is always at least 8 nodes from your starting position. So in this case here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What? It's obviously not the case. Now, the rule of 8 has been refined over the years, and people have found that there are a ton of specific exceptions. And someone will come into the comments and say, oh, well, that node is only 6 away in this setup because you started it in the bottom left corner and there was 1 empty node to your left. At that point, like, why even bother? Yes, in general, the core is further rather than closer to your starting point. So if you're in a situation where you've got 2 different directions you could go and you've got to go through an enemy program to go in either of them, you might as well prefer to clear out the path that takes you to nodes further from your start, because proportionally, more often the core will be over there. But in terms of actually being like, oh, okay, I know the core isn't here because this area is all within 7 nodes of the start, no, don't even bother. Anyways, let's just kill this guy and open it up. I'm sure when I post this, I'm going to get 100 comments saying, no, I got it all wrong. And in fact, there's also the like rule of 7.5. I don't even follow the rule of 6 all the time when I'm hacking. You should. If you can keep it in your mind and you can hack quickly while using it, then you should definitely use it. It's just straight up strategic information of value for you. But especially when you're operating in low sec, you really need to prioritize hacking those cans quickly and getting off grid. Although I say this having just sat on this grid unnecessarily for an extra 10 minutes, giving you a whole walkthrough about the rule of 6, but you catch my drift. So I will say low sec data sites can be profitable for a new player in a T1 frigate. 236 million ISK, although the electro-neural signaler here from the Ghost site is definitely more than pulling its weight in that total. So maybe the real takeaway is low-sec Ghost sites can be worth it. Still, the rest of this haul has value, but what's missing from it is even a single molecular condenser. or for that matter, literally anything else that we can reasonably use in this run. We're not going to be doing invention, and that covers most of these high value items. And then this other stuff over here, I'm pretty sure is only used for building rare Cosmos modules from blueprints you get in high-sec Cosmos sites, and that's off the table for us. We've run the only Angel Cosmos agent that we're likely to ever be able to run. So this 236 million ISK pile of loot here is literally worthless to us. We would trade all of it in a heartbeat for a single molecular condenser. But that trade does not appear to be on offer for us. I'm in Minmatar space now, and I have just scanned down my first Minmatar Relic site. So here's hoping that this actually gives me a whole whack of that sweet Minmatar salvage that I need. I'm talking about the thruster consoles. I'm talking about the tangled power conduits. I'm especially talking about the alloy titanium bars. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. 31 thruster consoles, yes please. And look at all this Tech 2 salvage. Found a quiet system in Minmatar Lowsec with, what's that, 8 signatures, and I'm alone and local. Feeling pretty good about this. There's going to be 8 data sites, and they're going to give me 8 molecular condensers. No, well, let's say 24. Why should there only be 1 per site, right? 24 molecular condensers, 8 data sites, Trodman, 0.4 Minmatar. Let's get it done. There's actually a data site in this system. Thank goodness. That rig did get us in there, but this hand did not have what we needed. Bunch of stuff. Okay. So this would be a huge win for us if we could build this. It requires 50 high-tech data chips, 50 high-tech scanners, and 50 high-tech manufacturing tools. But it builds out into a unified hacking device for both Relic sites and data sites, which gives approaching sort of Tech 2 mod abilities. These modules sell on the market for like a silly amount, and the blueprints are actually pretty common. It's the materials that are hard to come by. But if we can pick up 50 each of these high-tech tools, then we will absolutely build one of these, and we will absolutely fly around with it in our probe and just try not to die. We've already got, I'm pretty sure we already picked up, yeah, we picked up a high-tech data chip here. We've got at least 1 high-tech data chip, and I think 1 high-tech scanner back in Minar. So we'll see what happens. I mean, hopefully we don't have to hack enough data sites that we ever collect all of those pieces. But if we have hacked so many data sites that we've got 50 of each of those, we will be very thankful for the opportunity to build a ligature. In fact, that will probably be around the time that we start thinking about whether we want to be trying to build an astero as well, if I'm quite honest. I'm really hoping it doesn't come to that. But I'm in this for the long haul. One way or another, I'm going to do what it takes to get to the Cynabal. It might not be pretty, but we will get there. We will get there. Oh, that was nice. I'm in Gusendal now. I used to live in Gusendal way back in the day. In like 2012, I was a member of a little pirate corp on my main. Based out of Gusendal. I don't think I've been back since. It's not really on the way to or from anything. Nice to be back home. Oh, that was a that was a frustrating misclick. I'm gonna have a hard time completing this site now, even though the... Haha! What have I done? What have I done? There we go. Cut this in half. Cut it in half again. That was a lot of work to kill a node that was right next to the starting node because I accidentally clicked one too many times. 28 thruster consoles! I was okay, it was worth it. I need to be a little more careful, you guys. $29 titanium bars. That is nice. Alright, I probably should get all this back home. I'm pretty much set now for Minmatar salvage. 87 thruster consoles, 35 titanium bars, and we've got this ligature blueprint. It's getting close to time to call it. Oh man, all this Minmatar salvage and none of the condensers I need. I really do feel like I need to drop this off somewhere though. There's two dudes in system here who have these sites scanned down. They've been telling me what they are, and they've been bantering with me, promising not to come kill me, but I don't find that especially convincing. Okay, Arnster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 signatures. At least a couple of data. Drop me a goddamn condenser. Just one goddamn condenser, that's all I ask. It's getting out of hand. I've scanned 11 sites so far. I've run 11 data sites and a bunch of relic sites, which I should probably stop running because I have so much salvage now. I've run 11 data sites and not seen a single condenser. I need 18 condensers. Do the math yourself. This is looking like it's going to be an insane grind. Insane. I knew these condensers were going to be a pain to get. It's looking like it might take me as long to find the condensers as it takes me to do everything else in the challenge, though. I don't know if there's an alternate way. The only other way to get the condensers I know of is from the Galente and Minmatar faction warfare loyalty stores. And I can't join Minmatar or Galente faction warfare. It's not technically against the rules, but regardless, my faction standing is too low from all the stuff that I've done running the Angel Epic Arc and such. So even if I didn't mind the like flavor problems of temporarily signing up for Minmatar faction warfare, they wouldn't have me, and I can't think of any way I can improve my Minmatar faction standing without talking to a non-angel agent. Alright, data site. Oh shoot, it's a ghost site. I got one cannon out. Last signature of the night. It's getting late. My wife just got home. One more data site. Then I'm off. Eight. I thought these molecular condensers came in piles of 1. Whew. Seriously, you guys, what the hell was that? I literally just logged in to burn an undock bookmark. Saw that there were a couple of new signatures in Toady Frown. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And then in the very next data site I run, the very next data site after I found those 8 molecular condensers, this? Was the RNG screwing with me before? Or is it screwing with me now? I don't know. All I know is